Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Issei has forbidden paradox as his sacred gear? Before I start, please do support for more awesome content and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the written via iPad for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. Let's start this video. Thousands of years ago, there was a war between the three fractions. They were the angels, the devils, and the fallen angels. There was chaos everywhere, and the aftermath of such an event was horrific. But the angels losing their beloved leader God, and the fallen angels losing much of their military forces, and the devils losing their four satans of the generation and a majority of their population. Keeping what is called a pure blood heritage was difficult for the devils. But even so, something that should have never happened in secrets. A direct descendant of God had a child with a direct descendant of Satan, the original one and only Satan with a capital, 18 years ago. The pair knew that they could not keep or let others know of their child, so they made the ultimatum of a parent to let the infant go to the human world in hope that it'll never have to face the supernatural. They were heartbroken, but for the sake of peace and the child's safety, they had no other choice. The baby was who we know today as Hyodo Isay. Name: Hyodo Isay. Age: 18. Gender: male. IQ: 180. Height: 6'0" or around 180 centimeters. Body type: mesomorph, meaning lean and fairly well in shape. Weight: 165 pounds or 75 kilograms. Hair: black like obsidian. Eye: bloody red like a ruby. Skin: white like milk, smooth and flawless. Race: born 50% human, 25% angel and devil, reborn 33% angel, dragon, and devil later. Natural ability: gifted intelligence, oversensitive sense, inhuman-like body efficiency, for example. Speed, strength, agility, durability, perfect memory, strong creativity, and able to see aura and magic signature. Magic: Senjutsu if that counts, natural force, sleep and hypnosis, the power of chaos. Sacred gear: born with the true longinus, the dimension lost, the gem of the true dragon. Later acquire booster gear by accident. Familiar: Tiamat, the chaos karma dragon. Family: birth father and mother unknown, adopted father is Aki Hyodo, a wealthy and successful lawyer, adopted mother Akari Hyodo, a local elementary teacher. Grandfather God and Satan. Friends: Rias Gremory, plays chess together even though she never wins him, Akeno Himejima, spends lost of time in the shrine whenever he feels lonely. Yudo Kiba, met in the cooking club, which they're both passionate at. Personality: mastermind, sadist, nihilist, lonely, humble, brave, protective, responsible, passionate, greedy, sleepy, lazy, challenge seeker, op-eye lover. Likes: girls with beautiful op-eye, challenges, meaningful things and people, money, limited things, adorable stuff, anime and cartoons, science fictions and science books, a person to talk to, a tranquil environment, peace. Dislikes: people that want to hurt those he love, arrogance, powerless and meaningless, loneliness, unbalanced people, idiots, homework, chaos and crowded noisy places, clowns. Brief history: Hyodo Isay was an infant founded by the newly married couple Izaki and Akari Hyo in a park in Kyoto. He was considered a gift from God because the couple was both diagnosed with being infertile and they loved him very much. At a very young age he has been developing a gifted mind and many talents. When he was 8 years old, he's already able to use 4 languages: English, Chinese, Japanese, and French. Play piano, guitar and drum like a professional performer, understand advanced musical theory, and compose symphonies. Study college-level science, maths and computer coding without much difficulty. When he was 12 years old, he was an all-round athlete that many believe has the potential to bring Japan honor in the Olympics in the future, a chess grandmaster and a lover of history, philosophy and art. When he was 15 years old, he started his own company Connect Corporations, which started off from an idea of a perfect search engine to a major player in computer, medical, and virtual technology markets. Currently he's 18 years old, residing in a small quiet town, attending Kuo Academy as a third-year student. He's a bit like a celebrity in Japan, so what he really wants is nothing but peacefulness. So he decided to come to this private school and enjoy school life, while hiring someone else as CEO for his company, telling off the media that he's at a halt for his sports and musical career because of school, and finding an opportunity to finally make some friends. Issei's POV: I came to Kuo Academy when I was 16 to attend high school here. I've never attended kindergarten, elementary, or middle school because it was all too easy and I would frequently fall asleep or lose attention. So my parents decided it was best to start off my life careers early. I started to do what I was passionate about at a very young age and I accelerated at it. I won many national competitions and tackled much abstract arithmetic that was meant for true scholars. I always tried to push myself to the limit and achieve what I expected. It always happens and stuff, but one morning in the office I felt something extremely off when I was 14. I've done almost all that an adult would dream to have accomplished, but I've sacrificed my childhood and most of my teenage years. Something that attracted me the most in my life was the idea of being normal. Someone like me has never experienced being normal because of the abnormal things that were given to me at my birth. I was crazily gifted, so I ignored what was beautiful right before me and traded it for the potential in the future, which was totally not worth it. Money and fame I can get anytime and anywhere, but a childhood and innocence I have murdered and regretted. I had no friends and that was the reason why I decided to adopt a normal lifestyle. It was truly a great deal. When I came I needed not to worry about anything. Wealth, talent, knowledge I had more than enough, so I was focused on my main goal to just relax and try to make friends. To be normal, but even so I cannot understand my situation right now. Blood, it's the color of Ria's hair. Suffocation, it's the hands of desperation pulling deep to the infinite of misery. Blackness and nothingness is what I fear, loneliness consumes me, and regret falls as tears down my face onto the solid harsh ground. I thought to myself as I lay on the cold ground with a wound opened at the center of my dot. I should have lost conscious right away after such an event occurred, since my spine would be broken, my blood would be lost, and my breath would run out. My murderer was the least expected of my girlfriend Yuma Amano. It was such a great time that we shared together, and it's a shame that I died not understanding why. She didn't want money, fame, or anything. She just asked me to die and killed me while we died. A blade-like object pierced through me, and I fell beside a fountain and was lying helplessly. Did I really live a good life? Why does it have to end in this way? Someone answer me. I screamed inside my last will as I felt my cautious slip away, and so did my life. In a dimension full of darkness. So you've finally awakened. A loud voice spoke to me from nowhere. Who is this? And where am I? I replied, confused, as this didn't look like heaven or hell or even purgatory. You're currently dead, no doubt, but also not. Let me put it simple, you were basically living a dream, and now you are in the gap between sleeping and awaking. It said to me from all directions, I am the true dragon Great Red, and I've resided inside you ever since you were born. However, now's not the best time for our little chat, so I'll leave you for now. Wait. I still have much to ask. I yelled in fear that he'll leave him in this lonely place. Don't worry, you're just going to be reborn, so we still got chances to speak again. It said as I suddenly feel as if time is reversing and I am back at the spot where I have passed away. At the fountain of the park. I screamed as I was able to breathe again. My eyes shot open and I am able to see such a beautiful world again, not. I pushed myself off the ground and was met by a sight that truly let me question my sanity. Yuma Amano, the girl who murdered me, was fighting my friend Rias Gremory, and they were both wearing really revealing clothes and had wings. You killed Issei, you bitch. Rias screamed at her as she shot something looking dark red out of her hands at Yuma. He was just a human that had a sacred gear in him that I might need. What's so special about him to you? She countered the blast with a purplish spear that suddenly appeared out of her hands. What the fuck is going on? I don't cuss often, but this is just ridiculous. I think that dragon thing must have got it backwards. I must have died in the real world and woke in the dream. Then I remember that I had a huge wound in the center of my eye, so I looked down, and instead of seeing blood or gore, I saw a giant-ass glowing rupee that was circular, shaped like the thing in Iron Man. Then I saw there were tattoos on my skin that was also glowing red, which just confused me. Then on the ground was a circle, which had weird patterns rotating and glowing more and more. All of a sudden a beam of red light shot out of the ground below me, and I lost caution. Rias Pav. My crush and friend just got murdered by this bitch fallen angel for a reason that is just pure taboo, even for us devils. I cried from the inside, while pure hate and rage wrapped around my body like a curse, making me lose all logical thinking and just rampage at that bitch. Issei was such a wonderful person. He was one of a kind. He was smart, handsome, humorous and nice. He treated me and everyone else the same, treated me for who I am, not who I associate with. He never knew I was a devil, but I did say I come from a rich family. I never really knew him that well, except that he's had hardship for his own personal burdens, and now he's heading toward a path of happiness. Until this bitch ruined it. I stopped myself all of a sudden as I saw something coming from where Issei's body lay. The magic circle was beneath him as he stood up back alive with his sacred gear in the center of his where it was wounded. Suddenly I had hope, and a blinding red light shot down from him and obliterated the whole park and caused an earthquake. Fortunately I was strong enough to guard myself from his deadly energy in time, as Yuma was unluckily on her way to the afterlife. When the light died down I saw a sight that made me want to go check the doctor. With my dot in front of me stood a figure that had 9 pair of wings, 3 of them at the top were angel wings that was shining gold like ones of archangels, 3 of them in the middle were dragon wings that were lighted on crimson fire. And 3 of them on the bottom were devil wings that radiated a purple blackish aura that I have never seen before. Hyodo Isay, the boy I know that plays chess with me every day after school, was a monster. He was totally because of the obliteration of his clothes. He looked the same body but had red tattoos all over and a round-shaped ruby in the center of his like Iron Man and 18 wings sticking out his back. He then fell on the ground, but I caught him before he could hurt his head. "Geez, you scared me, you meanie, and why didn't you ever tell me you were a devil?" I mumbled to him as I processed to put his arm over my shoulder to carry him somewhere safe. "Don't worry, Issei-kun, I'll take good care of you." Issei's pav. In my dream. After I lost caution, I went into a realm that seemed to be blazing everywhere. I walked around, then I noticed a huge dragon. "Are you Great Red? The dragon that spoke to me?" I said politely to it, hoping to get some information that'll make me understand WTF is going on. "Yes, okay, since you're going to be my partner in fights and situations, I might as well take my time to explain to you the basic fundamentals," Great Red answered as he introduced me and explained the supernatural and my history in about 3 hours. "Okay, so to be brief, I'm actually a child of the direct offspring of God and Satan. I was sent to the human world because I am considered a paradox and will cite conflicts and endanger people. I have 3 sacred gears, the true Longinus, the spear Saint Longinus used to kill Jesus, Dimension Lost, a fog that I can alternate the properties of dimensions with, and the gem of the truth dragon, which is basically a part of your soul. I was killed by a fallen angel, which Yuma is, and saved by Rias, who is a devil, and also you, which is the strongest dragon that got nothing to do, so you gave me power for your entertainment. I'm now 33% dragon, angel, and devil, and both God and Satan are dead," I said in one breath, recapping all that I've learned in the past 3 hours. "Yeah, pretty much it, so how do you feel about all this?" Great Red asked curiously, staring at me with his giant eyes. "I feel like I've been hit in the face real hard with a rusted shovel, and now I need to consult a psychologist to fix my amnesia," I answered bluntly, "but I also feel happy now that I've at least something to do and it's interesting. You never cease to amaze me," the dragon said, chuckling at me, odd behavior as to my usual calm persona. "Anyways, I'll call you Issei now, and you can call me Great Red. I mean, formality is really annoying, I believe." "Same. I think I should wake up in Great Red, there's something that I want to do. So see ya next time," I replied and slowly shifted myself back into the realm of real life. It's really odd because instead of on the cold ground, I was in my bed. It was warm and soft, and I've never felt so safe and secure before. Currently it is 5 in the morning. I walked out of my bed, headed towards the bathroom to take a nice and hot bath. When I entered the bathroom and turned on the lights, I noticed something odd. First, I had no clothes on, second, my sacred gear was in my S, and third, how'd I get here in the first place? I walked back to my bedroom and turned on the lights and noticed there was someone else in my bed. It was covered up in blankets, so I couldn't identify who it was. Slowly moved forward, and when I was close enough, I pulled the blankets. On my bed was Rias. I blushed badly and fell off balance and hit the floor. Bang, I made a sound and Rias woke. I stood up again. "RRRR, Rias, why are you in my bed?" I stuttered and couldn't take my eyes off her gorgeousness. She sat up and rubbed her eyes, making those wonderful melons move a little. "Sorry, I've a habit of sleeping and falling asleep on your bed when carrying you home," she replied, still looking sleepy, and yawned. "Why am I too?" I questioned and quickly took a pillow to cover my erection. "Oh yeah. Issei, why didn't you tell me you're a devil? Like you could have warned me before you destroyed the whole park with that transformation." She remembers what happened and looks angry. "Well, I've never known I was a devil or an angel or a dragon. I've been 100% human my whole life, and I've never experienced anything weirder until yesterday. I got killed by my girlfriend, who turned out not to love me at all and was reborn by some kind dragon that likes my heritage." I mumbled the last part out as I felt lots of pain and loneliness in me. I looked down at the floor and buried myself in depression. She suddenly got out of my bed and hugged me tightly, burying my head in between her huge busts. "It's okay, Issei, I'll be there for you if you ever feel lonely. I know that we're just friends, but now that we both know each other's secrets, there's nothing much to hide. I'll be your girlfriend if you want. I don't mind having you as my boyfriend. I liked you very much," Rias confessed, gripping the hug tighter. I lifted my head out of her to gasp for some air. "I like you too, but I'm sorry I can't right now. I mean, I just want some time to recover from all the things that I realized," I said honestly, looking into her blue-green eyes with a faint smile that I tried to put on. "Oh okay, I'll give you time then, but I'm always free if you ever need me." She blushed crimson and loosened her hug. I stepped back a little and asked something that I think I'd consider stupid. "But would you like to take a bath together? I mean, nothing bad or sinful, but just helpful." "What do you mean by helpful?" Ria's body was red as a tomato as I looked at a list of words. "You have wings, right? And wings are long so I can help you wash your wings and you can help me with mine. I tried my best to stay innocent and away from the lustful thoughts. Good point. She said as we held each other's hands and walked into the bathroom. The change in life yesterday was the switch. I've always thought of things being easy or boring, but I've opened my eyes to a whole new world. In the morning I've also had plenty of time to enjoy the sight of Rias. I'm not a pervert, okay, but I just love good, I consider it art. I've never realized but there are so many devils and fallen angels in this town. It turned out that the town belongs to the Gremory and Citri family, which of course is composed of devils. Fallen angels aren't exactly welcomed, but it isn't the easiest to tell them apart. Until I've been reborn as an angel, dragon, and devil hybrid, I haven't been able to tell aura that well. I mean I could feel it sometimes, but now I can smell and see it, which seems pretty useful. Also now I can see magic, which is awesome because I can witness the mechanics of attacks and predict and track stuff. Though there are still two things that shock me a lot. First thing is I found out my heritage of being related to God and Satan and now Great Red because his blood runs in my body to keep me alive. Second is that a great proportion of the school contain devils, like Ria's father owns the school, the student council is Sona Citri's peerage, and the occult research club is Ria's peerage. I spent most of the school day greeting people and conversing. Is it a good thing that now I'm not human, I'm more social and happy? Rias told me to join the occult research club, so I agreed under my conditions that I had her to agree to. Well, that's something to talk about later. So Rias, where do you go to get a set of evil pieces? I was still a bit surprised that the set that I play chess with contains people's souls. There's a guy called Ajuka Beelzebub, you can get it from him in hell. Not the literal term, but the actual place hell. She answered while we sat in the clubroom waiting for the other members to arrive. Okay, then I guess I'll not go, going to hell to get a set of good-looking chess seems not so worth it, I thought as I rethink everything again. Hey Issei, could you show me your wings again? Rias asked, looking curiously. Sure, then I opened my wings, a mix of angel, dragon, and devil. She then studied them with great detail and thinking. Okay, now, try to put down the other wings and keep the devil ones. She asked, then I tried it out. As I pulled the dragon wings and angel wings in, 3 more sets of devil wings shot out and I ended up having 6 sets of devil wings. I didn't fully understand why, but I assume that possibility because my back is only this big. For example, I can have a maximum of 9 sets of wings on my back, but for each heritage I have 6 of their wings, which is also the race's inheritance maximum. So I can reach the limit and break the limit with additional power. Do you know what it means that you have 6 pairs of wings? She asked, looking at me closely. My father is the descendant of the original Satan. I answered bluntly. Great Red told me of my heritage, and I'm more freaked out than other because they may look at me as a monster, I look at others like they see me as taboo. You're probably the first one to be naturally inherited with so much power, and I can't even imagine the potential you'll achieve in the future. Don't worry Rias, my powers might change, but I will not. I'll always be the Issei you know and cherish, and you'll always be the Rias I know, right? I assured her by putting my hands on her shoulders. Looking into her eyes she blushed and nodded. The Kendo's Pav. After school I hung around Kiba-kun and Kaneko-chan for some time and walked to the occult research club together. As I opened the door, I noticed that Issei-kun was here conversing with Rias about something. What's Issei doing here? I wondered. But you, anything special today? I greeted my president Rias. We have a new member to our occult research club, Butchu replied, dragging Issei in front of everyone. Suddenly Issei opened his devil's wings and everyone gasped. 6666 wings. Where did you find Butchu? Everyone was shocked at Issei-kun. The same person that's the valedictorian for our grade and prays every so often at my shrine. Hey Kendo-chan, I was saved by Rias when I got attacked by a fallen angel, and I had absolutely no idea of angels, devils, or fallen angels until yesterday. So I'm still new to this all, so please take good care of me. He said with a beautiful and innocent smile, and then I felt my face heat up a little. My, you're a good-looking one. Anything I can do for you? My sadist side took over as I leaned closer to him, placing his arm between my dot. I am flattered, but no thanks, I don't really enjoy women. He said bluntly as his face darkened as if trying to hold back something. You're gay? Kaneko asked emotionlessly while everyone was looking at him. Nope, I'm very much straight, I just recently broke up, so yeah. He answered with much embarrassment showing. There was an awkward silence. Then we conversed while walking around the room. It's a strange habit that he does this, but it's kind of cute too. I really wondered to myself now who Hyodo Isay is. Tiba's Pav. The captain of the school's Kendo club is now a devil. Sounds sweet to me, now I can have a rival to duel with and won't worry about injuring no one. He might have 6 sets of wings, but that doesn't mean he'll beat me in Kendo skill, right? I thought. Then I walked over to my King Rias to ask for permission. After a while she agreed as long as it's only a competition of skill. Hyodo Isay, captain of the Kendo club, Hyodo Kiba challenge you to a Kendo duel. I proposed my idea to him. He then turned from his conversation with a Kendo and looked at me with a gleeful expression. I love Kiba-kun. I can call you that, right? I gladly accept your challenge. He offered his hand for a handshake. I gladly took it and told him the different set of rules. Okay, for duels for devils, we use real swords, we have many rules, and we fight until one yields or loses consciousness. We'll do it in the schoolyard if you don't mind. I explained. Okay, I'm fine, but losing consciousness is not so cool, but we're devils, right? He replied with a sinister smile. I flinched a little but didn't show. We both walked out to the fields and got ready to begin. Haneko's Pav. I walked out with Master Rias and a Kendo to see Issei and Kiba duel. I would have my bets on Kiba's victory, but also Issei because he's a very high-class devil except with no experience. They got onto the opposite sides of the yard and readied themselves. Kiba was currently wielding his demon sword, while Issei was wielding his polymer katana bakken. I got ready to referee. I'm gonna be refereeing this duel. Now if nothing is a problem, let's begin. I said, and they both launched at each other. Issei and Kiba collided with each other's sword. Kiba leaned forward to overpower Issei, but not much was done. I guess Great Red wasn't joking. My awakening of my true heritage really does make me stronger, Issei said, then he pushed forward and his own bakken broke in two. Everything slowed down. I tried to figure out what he was intending to use. He let go of his bakken handle in his right hand as he fell down like it in a sync pace. Dodging Kiba's slash barely, and then he rotated as the handle of the bakken landed in his left hand. Immediately the broken blade reattached itself with the handle as this energy that he used. Now he was in the defenseless range of Kiba and swung his bakken in a flash. Kiba got his wind knocked out of him and he fell forward a little stunned and in pain. Next Issei threw his blade upward as he caught it again in his right hand, which was already in position. He bashed down at Kiba's back and sent him slamming hard into the ground. Everything happened in 2 to 3 seconds. If I didn't activate my eye could barely track him, and from what I just saw this was horrifying. On the first day of being a devil he could nearly be considered as skillful as one that is born devil and trained as one for his or her whole life. Rias Pav. Kiba. I scream and worry if he was okay. Issei beat him within 3 seconds. I shouldn't have allowed him to duel, I should have known more about Issei's skills. I scolded myself for being mindless, which led to my knight being a possibility of badly injured. The duel's over. Winner is Issei and a Kendo. Go check up and heal Kiba now please, I announced, stopping any chance that Kiba might still be cautious enough to get hurt himself more. The Kendo's Pav. That was amazing, Issei-kun, I complimented as I walked up to check Kiba. The Kendo-chan, is Kiba okay? I think I might have gone too far because of battle rushes. I'm sorry. He looked down apologetically. I checked Kiba up and found that he's badly bruised up his stomach and back, his spine is still intact, but he's not blackout, probably from the sudden pressure of Issei's bakken applied to his spinal cord. He's okay overall, probably just needs a wheelchair for a week, so even for us devils. I'm glad you didn't do any worse because I understand powers are hard to control, especially in your case. I answered him and looked up only to be met by a smile. And thank you, I guess, and please take good care of Kiba or I'll feel guilty. He replied, then walked away looking relieved. Issei's Pav. I'm greatly relieved to learn Kiba was okay. Battle instincts that took over me even made me forget to hold back. Even though I'm still a little surprised that even devils can have a fragile body. Well, Rias did say that I'm really strong because of heritage. Would I have to have this heritage anyways? Walking over to Rias, I told her that Kiba was okay. I apologize for endangering Kiba of serious injury. She didn't shout or scold me because she learned that Kiba was okay, but she did say I need to be careful and it would be a good idea to have some restriction on me. I agreed with her and we went to the clubroom to discuss more on what I should do now I'm a devil. Well, I'm also angel and dragon, but don't really expect her to give me advice on that. It was getting late as my watch said 8 o'clock. Today I learned much about what's life like as a devil and even received a history book from Rias about the true history of the world. Eventually I would have to part with a club member because I have to go home, but still it was hard. For me, growing up without many friends makes me really attached to the friends I made today. I said my byes and headed home, trying my best to tell myself I'm happy and I'll see them tomorrow. As I was walking on the streets to my house I saw a female fallen angel landing in front of me and so I greeted it instead of panicking. Hello there, stranger, what do I owe them? I asked, looking up at the dark angel as she touched the ground. Oh hey there, good looking, I'm here to accomplish what you miss and failed at sadly. Now how would you like to die? She morphed a light spear in her hands and aimed it at me. At the mention of my ex-girlfriend who murdered me, my blood froze and I opened my entire set of devil wings as pain flooded my mind. The temperature in the neighborhood dropped a few degrees, and I eyed the daring angel with my blood-crimson eyes, which were filled with all the sinfulness in the world. The fallen angel froze in her place and paralyzed in fear as she realized I'm not the prey but the predator. Her light spear vanishes as she struggles to maintain her strength and sanity at the same time. Suddenly she dropped down on her knees panting hard and buried her head into the ground. "I'm sorry Devil-sama, please don't kill me. My superiors ordered me, I had no option. I don't want to die, please don't kill me. I'll do anything," she said in panic and stayed low on the ground. Her similar resemblance to Yuma made it hard for me not to just murder her on sight, painting the walls with a layer of cold blood. I wanted to do as I please, but at the moment something pissed me off even more than I ever felt. "Lead me to your superiors, and maybe you'll have a chance to not take a visit to my homeland. However, if you dare trick me, I'll just keep it as something that even God can't save you from," I commanded in a voice full of malice. "Why yes, Devil-sama." She spread her wings and flew to the direction of the church. I followed behind and readied myself for a massacre. Normally I'd give people a chance to voice themselves out before I judge, but right now I am furious at those scum. They were the reason for Yuma, and they were the reason for me losing my human heritage. Since I lose my humanity, I guess they should have the consequence of the devil. As soon as we arrived at the field of the church, it was night and the place was giving off a feeling of something disgusting rather than holy. I pinched a nerve point on the fallen angel's shoulder and knocked her out of consciousness. Then I placed back my devil wings and opened up my angel ones. It was 6 sets of golden wings shining white holy aura, driving off the disgusting aura from the polluted church. "Time for revenge," I said as I kicked open the church door and saw 3 fallen angels and 1 priest. Third person's POV. There was an explosion in front of the door of the church because all the fallen angels shot their light spears at the intruder in their base. In the dark and silent church hall there was some smoke and immediately bright golden light shined through it. Everyone had their eyes locked on Issei and was stumped at the sight of what they thought was Michael the Archangel. Michi. They all gasped at the thought that the leader of the angels was right before their eyes. Issei didn't move or care as he announced a prophecy. "I am not Michael, but I shall give you a prophecy of which is going to happen very very soon." He looked almighty and shined blinding light from his wings. "You shall all face judgment a lot sooner for your sins, and the biggest sin of all is pissing me off." Issei created a few dozen light spears hovering on top of him and fired at the group. He aimed at each, avoiding important organs and areas in order to pin them all to the wall without killing them. He then went into the rubble to find a piece of fairly rusted steel. It was probably one that was in the frame of the door when it was blasted. It was old and blunt, which is exactly what he needed with the time being something to kill slowly. "Okay, let me see who to pick first to have the honor to test out," he said, looking wickedly at the victims that were pinned onto the wall bleeding badly, but not enough to become lethal or lose consciousness. "Please don't kill us, we'll do anything. Angel-sama." They screamed in fear that I might not hear them. I walked to the one looking like Yuma and without a blink slit her throat with a rusty metal verifying its sharpness. Not so shabby for something meant for the doors." I commented at the lifeless body of the fallen that looked like Yuma. "But I already gave my mercy to one of your kind earlier, so you guys are out of luck." I stepped next to the blonde one that looked a little bit young. I mean, I could always make an exception if someone would offer me something that I might have an interest in, pointing at the metal, scraping a line from under her trachea to her head slowly. Unfortunately, they all looked too terrified to scream or cry, which I found some disappointment in. "Why yes, what do you want?" "Sacred gears, books, magic item, holy sword," she said, traumatized by my eyes. I blinked and my temper lessened as I threw the metal scrap away and plugged my light spears out of her wings and body. "It's your lucky day, I'll make an exception since I am kinda interested now," I told her as she fell onto the ground still bleeding badly. "Angel-sama, how about us?" the priest asked, looking panicking as he expected what he received. The light spears I pinned them with suddenly expanded and obliterated all of them into feathers. I walked over to the little blonde fallen angel to heal her up a little. Not too much, but enough to be able to tell me where those treasures are. "Okay, now where are those goodies?" "I did spare you, didn't I questioned her, looking for any traces of a possible lie. "Why yes, they are underground, Angel-sama, there's an entrance under the speech stands there, but there's also many forces down there," she said, and I'm glad she didn't lie because I would hate to torture a little kid. I told her to run away and never do these sinful things again as I destroyed the stance, revealing an entrance underground. Issei's POV. "If there is anything that would kill me, it's greed. I love to have new and cool things, and that's probably the quickest way to calm myself down if you ever see me in rage." Walking down the stairs, arriving at an underground bunker, something ruined my day as it was just getting a little bit better with the treasures. The sight of dark priests wearing hoods and a leader chanting something evil while an innocent looking young girl was strapped on a cross with chains looking lifeless, which she probably is. I changed my mind and nothing would help my wrath against these scumbags. I will show them true divine power and perish them. My blood boiled as I unfold my wings and shined everywhere in the dark basement with a holy aura. Now I caught everyone's attention, the priest all turned to me and began to start shooting with their guns. I concentrated my power and I felt something in my heart heat up. Wrapping my golden feather wings around myself like a cocoon, I said. I who shall diminish all evil, call upon the power of justice. Morning star. The light emitted from me intensified and burned away all the offenders and darkness in the room. I then fell onto the floor exhausted after initiating such an attack. To be frankful, I have no knowledge that I could do any of these things, but oddly enough they feel so familiar, as if someone is guiding me. Anyways, now the room was all clear of threats as all the evil priests a minute ago all seemed to be gone. The girl stranded on the cross was still there and she did not look good at all. The living color was gone from her face and she seemed to be starved for days as she was really thin. From seeing this I began to rage again. Fuck. I swear on my own name that I'll butcher the next person who dares to attempt such things. I yelled as I cut off the chain bidding her to the cross and she fell onto the ground. I held her in my arms and laid her on the ground softly. There's still a way to save her if you'd like to know, a familiar voice spoke from my where the round ruby piece glowed. Great Red. There is a way to save her, but how? She's already dead. Her soul has already left her body and she's a corpse. I spoke back to him. That's true, but sacred gears often make Marcells, so if we were to check out the little storage these fiends collect, then we may have a way. Okay then let's go. I wandered through the underground layer and finally found something that looked like a storage room. I entered and was impressed. There were a lot of weapons like light swords and guns that shot holy rounds which contained holy water in it. Like shelves full of this regular equipment, and at the end corners was a table that had 2 swords, a chess set, a deck of cards, a hand gauntlet, a pair of rings, and an orb. Issei, take these things on the table, they'll be valuable. The swords are 2 fragments of the holy Excalibur, ruler and blessing. They can be very useful in the future if you can manage to find the other 5 pieces. The chess set, as you know, is a set of evil pieces. I guess you wouldn't need to go to hell to get yourself a set. The deck of cards is an angel version of the evil pieces called Brave Saints. The hand gauntlet and the ring and the orb are all sacred gear. I know the hand gauntlet is booster gear, one of the 12 longinus because of Dragzen's there. The ring is Twilight Healing I think, which is like the ultimate medic, and the orb is the Will of Truth, it blesses life and luck. You're one of the luckiest bastards ever in history to encounter so many useful tools in one place. Especially one like this. I looked surprised at the facts and the perfect idea hit my head. It was true that I wanted all this for myself, but I could create something with much more entertainment. Great Red, I need to borrow some of your powers to merge the deck and the pieces together. I requested. Okay, but why? It's not a toy you know, but I trust you plans, Issei. He bumped energy into my body as I focused my mind to bid the chess and the deck together into one. It's simple. The reason why you can't bid an angel to an evil piece or a devil to brave saints is because they repel the opposites. So if I smash them with the opposite with enough force, I can cause them to neutralize each other, so I can bid anything to my set as long as they have a soul. Then a red light shined from my hands and I concentrated hard to merge the two. After 5 minutes they're finally stable enough to be considered a success, as now the product was a chess set piece that seemed to have gold linings and was crystal clear like a glass waiting to be filled. Then I walked out of the room with the 2 holy swords, my new chess set, and the sacred gears that I found. Finders keepers, right? This is awesome. I imagined all the shit I could do with my evil pieces. Technically they're not evil pieces anymore, so I need a new name for them. Hey Great Red, do you think this is gonna work? Yeah, I think the Universal P sounds like a fitting name, and no, I don't really support your other idea on bringing the girl back to life. Oh come on, it's going to be awesome, plus she's been through hell from those scumbags, so I believe that even though it's going to be a taxing job, it's still going to benefit us in the long run. Well, what if she gets too strong or out of control? We barely know anything about her, except that she's dead. Just trust me, will you? I know it's not the safest thing ever, but will you stop being paranoid? Geez, you're a dragon. Don't speak to me in that tone. We might be partners, but we are still never going to be the same, so don't get too cocky. Me cocky? Aren't you the arrogant one? Anyways, I give up, you win, but still I'm going to save this poor little girl. I walked to her and kneeled down, trying to heal her up with angelic magic. Anyways, Great Red, how come I know how to do these things? Like I've never trained in anything like this, but it all seems natural, as if it's like memories that I have experienced again and again. That would be me, like when you were born there were many things inherited to you, and out of those are 2 of the most lethal things in the whole universe. The will of Satan and God, and your natural flawless control over energy. However, the will of Satan or God never was absorbed by you because you were too humanly, well, your control was suppressed by me. I couldn't allow you to run around bringing calamity, can I? Okay, cool, tell me more later in my dreams. Now we need to extract the fire heavenly dragon's soul from the sacred gear and place it into the girl's body. I explained to Great Red in great detail and went to already fusing twilight healing and orb of truth in her body. Ah, you're stubborn, well, you'll have to deal with her and the dragon and the consequences. I don't trust any one of them ever. Great Red complained as he lent him his power and transferred the soul of the great dragon Drake into the girl's body. You don't need to trust anyone, but just trust me, okay? Remember, we're partners, so we do everything together. I smiled. Don't rub it in my face, human, Great Red mumbled. In the name of Hyodo Isay, I call to you who are lying dead on the grounds to hear my command. Return your soul from the realms of death to the human world and rise once more as my servant. Rejoice, as you have been given a new life, wake, as my pawn and soldier. I chanted as I placed my 8 pawn pieces down on her and she glowed white as the magic took its effect. I looked at her when the glow lessened and waited for her to open her eyes. Issei, I think that you have noticed that her appearance has changed. I spoke. Imagine Lucy Hertfilia from Fairy Tale, but with green eyes and mature. By mature I don't mean old. Yes, but isn't that normal since I've summoned her soul back to her body, while the soul of Drake also inhabits it? I wonder how strong she's gonna be. Having one of the heavenly dragons inside her body and twilight healing and orb of truth. It's basically like merging with your sacred gear, right? I squealed in excitement. The color began to return to the girl's face, and then her eyes opened and spoke in a rather gentle voice. Where am I? Is this heaven, Angel-san? Haha, no, heaven would probably be nicer and brighter than here, don't you think? You're still alive. I lifted her up and walked to the underground exit. Arriving at the ruined church hall above ground, I placed her onto a bench and explained further. My name is Hyodo Isay, I'm an angel, dragon, and devil. I brought you back to life to be my servant. I introduced myself. I'm not going to treat you as a servant, so don't go all formal. I, however, have 2 requests from you. First, you have to pledge your loyalty to me, and second, you have to tell me your name. Issei-san, I swear in the name of God that I shall pledge my loyalty to you, and my name is Asia Argento, she squeaked. It was odd because her voice and her body don't match that well. Under the moonlight shined down on Asia. She was in a torn-up nun outfit and had a cross hanging down her neck and between her dot. She was a blonde with green eyes and sharp features of a model. Her body and face were very well in ratio, but still she was a bit short, kind of like a kindergarten teacher that has a lot of love. Her skin seems so perfect now that her heart is beating again and her blood is warm. Involuntarily my lips moved forward on their own in her forehead. She blushed and I did too, but I felt warmth and hugged her close to me. I'll never let you go, my cute servant. Those bastards who would do such things to suck pure-hearted children will be the first on my list to weed away. I'll never let anyone hurt you. I then picked her up bridal style and carried her home. She fell asleep in my arms as the night winds blew past us. I might have received 2 holy swords for free, but I'm truly satisfied by saving this girl's life. I promised to protect her. I shall hold myself to my word. I arrived home and sneaked into my room through the window. I helped undress Asia and tugged her into my bed. I hoped she wouldn't mind, but if she did wear those torn clothes I wouldn't be able to sleep well at night. Grabbing an extra blanket and pillow, I quickly fell into the dream realm right next to her. Great Red, I think you owe me a more in-depth explanation. Dear diary, I, Hyodo Isay, are still not ashamed of writing to you, despite what others will say if they witness my actions. Anyways, life has been great now that I'm a devil or demon, because it's interesting. I've made many friends, and I was surprised at the simplicity of this social algorithm. Still the same status in school and now rank in the top 5 of the right people in Japan. Could have done better, but I gave much of my fortune to my charity that I recently established to help homeless children. Asia Argento, my adorable servant, has been doing well too. She's healthy, happy and hyperactive. She blends in well in the school, though some of the boys have had some bad ideas about her, which I taught them the meanings of off limits through the hard way. Drake, which is now sealed in her body rather than in a sacred gear, has awakened too. Now that Great Red has stabilized his connection with my body and Drake has made an Asian connection too, they converse a lot whenever we're near each other. They're almost like father and son, by Great Red being the father that Drake actually admired for a long time as his dream and idol, and Great Red opening up to Drake, which was as curious and excited as a young kid. Well, I guess I've done Great Red a favor finally for his detailed explanation for me also saving my life. In the span of a few months, I've awakened my second sacred gear, Dimension Lost, but still can't activate my final one, the True Longinus, which is in fact the strongest. Well, maybe not compared to the gem of the True Dragon. I've also had to do training with the art of controlling nature, which I've self-taught through lots of research and training. Currently I'm strong and well aware of my limit from the lectures and discussions I have with Great Red every night. Also I've trained Asia too, she has achieved the balance breaker for all her sacred gear which I was greatly surprised at. It's probably because of Drake and it's just awesome. She could maintain balance breaker and even juggernaut drive because her sacred gears are technically infused with her body, so yeah. Even though she can now hold her ground pretty well against me right now, she still respects and treats me as a superior, despite how many times I request her to stop adding Sama after my name. Things have been going well with Rias and the Occult Research Club. I was constantly challenged by Kiba in sword fighting and cooking, Kaneko would always play with her cat with me, Akeno always tries to seduce me, and I'll be honest I fell for it sometime, though something always stops it before it got too far, and Rias was always telling me about fun stories of her past and playing chess with me. I love them all very much despite them being very interestingly weird people, and I'm currently tearing myself apart because of Akeno and Rias. They both have wonderful op-eye bodies. They both have nice personalities and I trust both of them. If I had to choose I couldn't because I couldn't bear one of them being upset, seeing one of them cry will make me lose my mind because my heart will break apart. Oh, and I'm getting familiar today because of Ria's victory over the student council. It was a furious dodgeball game between the Gremory household and the Citri household. I couldn't participate because I'm not a part of her peerage, which I wouldn't mind being for the sake of friends. I did however borrow her Asia, which made the game more like an overkill, because she got frustrated and boosted everyone's power up at least 5 times in the last 5 minutes. Anyways diary I've got to go, can't afford to have anyone accidentally discover you can't I wrote in my journal, and the alarm sounded for 7 AM in the morning. A brand new day, a brand new life. You awake Red? I asked with a cheerful tone and threw my arms up to stretch. Partner it's only 7, give me some more time to sleep. It's not the easiest to keep up with your workaholic you know. AK I guess a big boy like you does need his precious nap time. I said sarcastically then Great Red grunted then not even 5 seconds fell back to sleep. I wonder what he dreams about. I got out of my bed and got myself dressed to perform my usual bathroom duties. After I'm all set to go to school I walk downstairs to see Asia at the breakfast table with my parents conversing and laughing. Persuading my parents to let her move in was one of the most memorable moments of my life. Flashback. In the morning the day after I recruited Asia, in the living room on the sofa, trying to find the right words to tell my parents. Mom and Dad, is it okay for someone to move in with us? I asked. Sure sweetie, I would love to have a guest in our little house. I'm supporting you now, you just need to persuade your father. My mother said with a smile. I don't have anything against it, but soon I do want to know who this person is. My dad replied. And how do I phrase this? She's a foreign student that just came here not long ago from Italy, she doesn't know this well, so I offered her to stay with us. I answered by trying to face my parents' expressions. They were shocked, then nervous, then angry, then overjoyed. Issei we've always worried that you might be homo because you've always been a workaholic. We've always worried that we would never see our grandchildren, now it's just a miracle. We support you and don't worry it's okay to think or do those things that you know. You're at the right age and you've grown up my boy. My father said crying with pride all over his face. It feels just like yesterday when you were still a baby, me and your father holding your small body in our arms and cradling you to sleep. Issei treats your wife with love, young man. You shouldn't work that hard now that you basically don't need to ever worry about money, you should shower her with love just like how your father and I are, and how we loved you. Also use protection, I'm still not ready to be a grandma. My mother said hugging my dad. This is what I meant by mental preparation. I never mentioned who she was exactly and they've already assumed all that far. Flashback end. Good morning Asia, how was your sleep? Did you dream about anything? I greeted her sitting down at my seat. Ohio Issei-sama. My sleep was pleasant, I dreamed about you. She replied with a blush as she gulped down a cup of orange juice. I'm okay. Well let's go to school soon, we have a long day ahead. I gave up and tried to get her to stop using those suffixes while addressing me. We wished breakfast and walked to school straight to the Occult Research Club as I would spend the day beginning with getting familiar. Good morning Rias, Akeno, Kaneko and Kiba. I greeted them and got into their magical circle to be transported to the forest of the familiars as they called it. Then we teleported and arrived at a forest. My name is Itauji and I strive to become the familiar master, a small man standing on a tree branch exclaimed. I take it that you're here to get familiars. Ah yes we're the Gremories, we're here to get familiars for our 2 new members Rias exclaimed and he jumped off the branch and approached Asia and I. You 2 are the new members. What type of familiars would you like, strong ones, fast ones, magical ones, cute ones? He asked with an incredible amount of enthusiasm. I want a cute one Asia said, while imagining a cute little rat monster that she could hold in her arms. The familiar master looked confused, then commented. Well, it's best to make a pact with one that's strong or fast. Familiar aren't pets, you know. Okay, then I would like the strongest one here in this forest that you know of. I said, and then he looked at me as if examining my face. The strongest ones are off limits because they're almost impossible to tame. But if you want to know what's the strongest, there's Chaos Karma Dragon here, Tiamat. He said. Tiamat? Haven't seen her in ages. Hey Issei, form a pact with her, she's a wonderful dragon. Her body is like wow. Brad, you're too old to have interest in her, aren't you? Partner, you'll know what I'm saying when you see her in her human form. Yeah, as if she going to magically appear to seduce me. Are you still a youngster? Zataoji asked me, curious about what I was blabbering about. Oh sorry, I spaced out a bit here, anyways, as you were saying, take me to Tiamat. I requested to Zataoji. Issei, he said it's untamable, didn't he? Rias said to me, looking a bit concerned at the ideas I might get. Yes, for the marginal standard of commoners, yes, but I'm going to at least give it a shot, since Red wants me to meet her so badly. I said, and my red-haired friend let out a small breath. Why do I even bother to worry about you? She mumbled very silently. Because I do the same, and just for the fact I have oversensitive hearing. Then her face lit up like a tomato. Anyways, Zataoji led the way, I'll do the impossible in your book. You must be crazy, but devils are supposed to be crazy, right? Okay, just follow me, but if anything happens it ain't my fault. He snorted, then began to walk us to a cave north of the forest. On the way there, Asia met her familiar. It was a small blue thunder dragon that she named Raiji. It seemed to be very protective of her, which I took a liking to. Also, the little fella is cute with his triangular narrow head and his big bulgy eyes. It also saved everyone by electrocuting the slimes that were going to ambush us from the trees. Soon we arrived at a cave that looked like much of a house with a pink sign on the top saying Tiamat's Cave and a warning saying don't enter if you don't want to die. I walked straight in, and surprisingly I can see perfectly in the dark thanks to my dragon instincts. Ever since I attacked my girlfriend Yuma Amano, I was resurrected with the blood of Great Red. Which made my body stronger as it changed my organs and senses and feelings. Not so much on the outside, but on the inside I'm basically a more complex and complete organism. Gaining many cool abilities that I could also gain if I was reincarnated as an angel or devil, but cooler. Then I stopped as I could see a bed not too far in front, and on it lay a beautiful lady. She had long blue hair and wore a light blue sleeping dress, her skin was tan goldish yellow, and if what Red said was true, she'd have beautiful blue and black eyes that look like the stars in the night sky. Are you Tiamat? I've come here for Great Red to say hi. I said to her, and she seemed to wake up. Red? Haven't seen him in a long time. Anyways, human, anything else before I eat you? She told me as she rubbed her eyes and yawned. That just means you know, and yeah, I would like to form a pact with you, since you seem to be the strongest familiar here. I answered nonchalantly and used the dimension lost to bring my holy sabers into my hands. Familiar? I'm a dragon king, not a familiar, you arrogant lowly being. It's just ironic how you wield holy sabers when you're only a devil. She shouted at me, angered by the familiar comment. Well, I very much like to settle this through talk, but it doesn't seem possible now. I guess I might as well dance with you a bit. I finished as my body tattoo showed glowing red and all of my wings spread out, unleashing a shockwave of aura that shook the cave up. I've not had a good fight in centuries, don't disappoint me, holder of the true dragon. Tiamat then transformed into her dragon form and launched at me, spinning in a torpedo-like pattern with her magic spinning around her body. I dodged and flew outside the cave to begin our fight there. Be careful, partner. She's a Satan-level dragon, so her abilities are vast, unlike anything you've ever experienced before. Well, you sent me here in the first place, so I might as well take it as a challenge. I was currently flying in the sky while Asia and Ria's group looked up to see me. Issei, did you have to have a fight with a dragon? Rias screamed at me and just watched helplessly and nervously. Don't worry, it won't take long. I replied as I held my hands up and released one of my serious attacks. Cannon. A giant ball of chaos energy shoots out of my hands and hits Tiamat straight head on. A huge explosion happened, and before I knew it the dragon was already at my back. Impressive, so that was just a clone for decoy. I turned around to stop her jaws from closing down at me. Then I burst into flames and appeared on top of Tiamat, who could only look at me with dumb folded expression, and smashed my fist engulfed in Great Red's flames down at her head. She crashed straight down at the forest, clearing an area without trees. Next I appeared down at where she landed and gripped her by the throat and started sucking out her energy. She was helpless because of the suffering of that superheated punch straight in the head. Soon she lost all her magic and she fell into the crater in her human form. That was genius even for my standards. It only worked because I caught her off guard by luck. I landed down and picked her body up from the crater. Brad, I never want to admit this, but you're right, she is damn wow. Like her skin is so smooth and she is perfectly sized, shape, and fullness. God, I'm such a horrible person to have punched this beauty. I credited my partner and jumped out of the debris and walked back to Rias and others. My partner has good taste too. And that's one thing we can trust each other, right? I arrived at the sight of a dozen shocked eyes and pale faces. You managed to beat her in less than 5 minutes. Zataoji stuttered with fear in his voice. Who are you, my lord? I go by Hyodo Isay, no formalities, and if you may, let's continue with the forming a pact thing with Tiamat. I said as I lay her down on the ground. My, Issei-kun, you are so good at fighting, I wonder if you're as good as in bed. A Kendo chuckled loudly, and I turned into an actual chili pepper man. Would you like to try me out at a Kendo-chan? Then it was a Kendo's turn to blush like red pepper. Rias interrupted and said, we need to make a pact for Issei first, right? Why, yeah, that's right. Now what do we need to do to form the pact? I asked the familiar master as he took out a contract from his bag and a pen. You just have to sign here and she has to sign here too. He then looked at the currently unconscious Tiamat. I placed her on the ground and called Asia over to heal her, so hopefully she'll wake up soon. I waited for about 10 minutes, then I noticed she began to snore and mumble weird stuff out of her drool. Escaped her and gave everyone slight chills in the spin. Oh no, do touch me there, strangler, I'm not ready yet. I'm being helplessly violated and I like it too, I'm such a horny slut. She mumbled, then I face-palmed and used my ultimate way to wake anyone up, tickling. Flipping her on her front, and I started to attack her all over, and then suddenly she broke out in laughter and opened her eyes. Stop it, I'm weak to being tickled, mister. Hey, come on, stop it, ha 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 ha. I continued to tickle her even more furiously, then Zataoji came over to her and asked her to sign the contract. Sign here and I'll stop, okay, or else you want to try tickling level 2, I whispered in her ear, and immediately she signed the document without a second thought. I stopped tickling her and she stopped fighting and laughing. Oh god, this is such an odd dream. She said, then closed her eyes as if trying to wake up, but nothing happened. She blinked a few times, then tried rubbing her eyes and saw me again. First she panicked, then she looked confused, then she blushed, then she looked horribly pissed. How dare you take advantage of me while I thought I was sleeping? She yelled furiously and then tried to summon energy to blast me, but nothing came to her. Wow. What did you do to me, you evil devil? First thing to clear up, I never violated you. She blushed horribly, and also did Rias, Akeno, and Kaneko. I can pledge that Issei-san Kiba stood up for me. So I continued. Second, I didn't take advantage, I told you to sign it, and you did it without even thinking of second thoughts, so it's you taking a disadvantage. I said, obviously for someone that's been living for so long they would know to read the terms and conditions before just agreeing to something. Third, I vacuumed your powers so you'll be magicless for at least a few hours, and now that we're a pact and you're my familiar, we might as well get to know each other better. I held out my hand to her. She hesitated silently and then took it with her handshake. We shook and she looked into my eyes, then blushed badly again. I never knew she was the shy kind, I thought to myself. Well, it seems I've found someone worthy to be my master, but don't get me wrong, I still hate you. She stuttered bit by bit and avoided looking at me. Then I sense a malice aura coming from Rias and Akeno. You're going to have harder battles in bed rather than on the battlefield, partner. I just hope you don't get torn apart by the girls closest to you. Yeah, says the oldest dragon that doesn't even have a mate. I hissed at him mentally. I was happy that today I've managed to get used to it, so I guess I shouldn't complain all that much, should I? Okay, Issei-sama, after a day or so you should be able to summon Tiamat whenever you like for her to come to your aid, Zataoji said, and then my magic seal appeared on her hand and then disappeared. Okay then, Tiamat, thanks for agreeing for me to form this pact with you. Anyways, if you ever want to visit me, just give Red a telepath message and I'll summon you. I told her and then walked back to the others to go back to the school as our time is almost up. Okay, cool, I guess, since you're my master, you'd have to buy me lots of clothes, toys, and ice cream, okay? She said to me before I went. Of course. I'll drown you in luxury if you want, my adorable familiar. I used it as a goodbye, then the magic circle took us back to the school, leaving a blushing Tiamat with a certain boy's name stuck in her little head. We arrived in the building, and everyone resumed doing what they usually do in their free time, chilling. I started a conversation with Rias out of the blue, and eventually it led to this question she asked. Issei, would you ever marry someone that you do love if it's for the sake of someone else? I replied, moving my head from left to right repeatedly, of course not. If you marry someone you don't love for someone else's sake, then it only generates more problems, because you don't love the person simply. Rias looked down at the ground and hesitated and agreed weakly. Then Asia walked in on us and told me it was time to go home, so I left. I wanted to let Rias say something that she seems to be frustrated about, but I had a feeling that it wouldn't be possible, and forcing her wouldn't be the smoothest. Arriving home, I ate dinner with my parents and decided to retire to my sleep early at 11 o'clock. I was just about to drift into the realm of Morpheus before someone appeared in my room and made me notice with my attention. It was Rias with a somewhat panicking expression on her face. She looked down at me, not sure if I'm awake or not. "Hello," I said plainly. "What do you have to come at this time of the night, Rias?" Then she took off her clothes, I mean all of it, and she was in front of me. She crawled up my bed and started to feel and touch me, which I felt fairly disturbed. "Issei, this is urgent, I need you to take my," she pleaded to me, which made me more confused. "Why would you want to give me your?" I looked at her as if she's gone nuts. Then as her hand reached to my lower region, I grabbed her hand and stopped her from going any further. It was already odd that we were both and our bodies were touching. Me because I like to sleep this way, she because she's probably mad on hormones or something. "Remember when I asked you that question about marrying someone you don't love?" She said. "Ever since I was born, when my parents found out I was a girl, I was placed under an arranged marriage with someone else." Rias started to cry on my face, and I just tried my best to comfort her by patting her back. "Someone who I should be engaged to, I don't love or even like him. He's a douche and treats women no better than just furniture or trophies. I would rather die than be forced to live with him for thousands of years, no less being forced to bear his children." She cried even harder and wrapped her arms around me to hug me as hard as she could. "Why I ask you to take me is because I'd rather give to someone I love, even if that meant never seeing you ever again, than let that arrogant pervert I'm engaged to take it by force. I love you, Issei. I really do, even though Kendo and Asia and maybe now Tiamat all feel the same. I want to be with you, and I know it's unfair for the other, but this may be the last few months before I'll be gone. Being trapped in a delusional estate in hell, heavily guarded like a prison without an end. I want you to have at least one thing to always remember me by." She sobbed and I felt anger, hatred, and loath building up within my body. I could probably combust my house right now if I let the pressure out, but I had to confess something too. "Rias, you've always been my best friend ever since I moved here for high school. You've made my life a lot better, hell you even saved my life before. To be in a situation like this makes me just want to start a war, but I'll promise you this. Even if you're impure, even if you're stuck in hell, even if you're never able to see me again, I will always go and find you no matter what. I won't stop even if my breath stops, I won't stop even if my body stops, I won't stop even if my will stops. No matter where and how you are, I'll always be there for you somehow, no matter what the cost is. Because you're my friend and I love you, Rias Gremory, and I'd be honored to take your and also allow you to take mine." I confessed, and involuntarily our lips moved and rejoiced with one and another. I tasted her, it had the flavor of sweet cherry and vanilla ice cream. Instinct took only me, but before I could do anything I felt another presence. I looked over Rias to see a white-haired maiden with a face that was full of shock. "Rias, how could you? To allow this lowly being to have your purity?" She spoke in a tone full of disappointment. "I love Rias, whoever you are, and so what did she give me? I will protect her from all you scumbags who are planning to sell her out to a worthless douchebag. Even if that means waging war." I warned as I let out my 6 pairs of devil wings with an ancient sinister aura growling from them in hunger for blood. "Issei, stop. You can't fight her, she's my brother's queen. Forgive her for rudeness." Rias calmed me down before I went to devour her with my power of chaos. "Grafia is my best friend, Issei. He normally isn't this violent, but he's really upset now. My apologies for being rude to Lord Issei, but Lady Rias does have an engagement, no matter if you like it or not. This is coming from a direct order of the great Satan Lucifer, her brother." Grafia explained to Issei, who didn't look any less pissed. Hyodo Isay is the direct descendant of the original Satan with a capital S. I let loose my power in a form of killing intent, as the feeling caused the whole of world to feel it, even from Michael in the heavens to the 4 Satan in the hells. I give a direct order to whoever the current Lucifer is to fuck off before I make him do it. Grafia was frozen in fear, she had never experienced such raw amounts of power before. It's difficult to even be able to stay logical instead of going mad. She has to choose, so she decided to give up for now. "Very well, Lord Issei, I shall take me leave and deliver the message." She then transported somewhere else with a magic circle. "Issei, you've just made matters more complicated now. You don't know how much trouble you've gotten yourself into now, all because of me." Rias held me tighter and tighter as I did the same to her too. "Rias, I don't care how much trouble I get into. I only care that I'm doing it for you. You know me, and now that I've already done it, there's no way of going back, and even if there is, I would still continue. So much that I'd give up anything to see your smile rather than your tears. Now let us sleep, we've got a long and agonizing day tomorrow." We held each other like cocoons and sought warmth through each other's body. A peaceful night went by as my mind was truly at rest with the one I love besides me. I'll never let them take you, Rias. Thanks for watching this video. If you really enjoy this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support and follow the written via iPad for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.